Well, hello everyone. I have missed you guys so much. I have not put up a what's for dinner video in many weeks and I have really missed it, but we've just been super busy. It was nice to have a little bit of a break. And then once I decided I was going to get back into filming, I kept forgetting to film and so on and so forth. So what I have here today are a mix of some clips that I had recorded before I took the little break. So some are back in the fall. And then, well, technically we're still in fall. It's not crossed over to winter time yet, but you know what I'm saying. And so some of them are from then, and then some of them are just within the last couple of weeks. So I'm hoping that I'm back in the swing of it again. I've missed it, but I enjoyed having a little time off. With all that being said, I've got some delicious stuff today. I hope you enjoy this video. It's got some really good stuff in here. So let's get on into it. All right, what you see here are the ingredients for the Copycat Taco Bell Crunch Wrap Supremes. I've got these really big burrito-sized flour tortillas. Look how huge those things are. I got them on the markdown. I have a little can of the jalapeno cheddar. This cheese dip is so good. I've got some hard shell tostada shells. And then you have seen me here browning up my ground beef. So I think that was maybe about a pound and a half. And then I am just seasoning it with the traditional type of flavors you would for taco seasoning. Use a taco packet if you have it, the little envelope of seasoning. I always just do my own. So chili powder, cumin, and garlic powder, and salt. So I'm getting this all seasoned up to be the meat portion of my Crunch Wrap Supreme. Also, the little trick with the paper towel, that is sometimes how I get the extra fat or grease from the bottom of my pan. If it's a really lean meat, you can do that. And this is from our own cow. We always have some cows being raised at our son Gunner's house, and he loves taking care of them, does a great job with it, and we have our own beef. It's great to know what they've been fed, how they've been taken care of, and this makes a very lean beef that puts off very little fat. All right, here we go. We've got our ginormous big burrito shells here, and what you want to do is put a little bit of the ground beef in the center, and you want that to be about the size of your tostada. Next, you're going to take your tostada and you're going to apply the cheese on top of that and kind of spread it all around, and then you're going to flip that upside down on top of the meat portion. If you've never had a Crunch Wrap Supreme from Taco Bell, and I think I only have once, but this is kind of how they are made. Next, on top of that, you apply your sour cream. It doesn't sound like I'm talking about food when I say apply, but you're going to put your sour cream on top of the tostada, and I added this on. This is not a part of the recipe that I was following, but I happened to have this Taco Bell Baja sauce, and I knew that was going to add a delicious flavor, and it did. So that goes on top of the sour cream. Next, you're going to come in with your lettuce and with your tomato, and you are just building a whole big mound of deliciousness right on top of this great big shell, which we are going to wrap in just a second. The final layer is the shredded cheese, and this is honestly really great because, well, I'll tell you why it's great in just a second, but now the deal is you're going to use a hand to kind of hold what you're folding, and you're going to fold this all together, and it actually comes together quite easily. You just need to kind of hold what you're folding and continue to just tuck it all in. And it actually, I didn't do it the same way every time, but it actually folds up pretty easy. And so here you go. You've got this little doodad here. I kind of pressed it down so things would start to seal just a little bit, because you're going to move this over to the oil that you have heating up in your pan. So there we go. It's put together. We're managing to get it there without, it coming apart. Yes. Put it in and give it a little press. And you want to have low to medium heat. And look at this. Oh my goodness. Isn't that wonderful? Now, what I was saying about the cheese, the trick is when the cheese is on the outside there, I'm just moving right along, making another one. It forms this little, fried cheese sort of crust that holds everything together in that little hole in the center. I have just wrapped mine as they come out of the pan in individual little foil packets. That way they stay nice and warm. See, there's that cheese I'm telling you about. Yes, it just holds everything in. It keeps it from falling out that little hole. So that's actually really genius. So I made 4 of these. I didn't really know. I've never made these before, like how many you would need to be feel like you're satisfied. Well, 1 did the trick, 1 per person. So we had a couple left over, which were really good, heated up the next day. You might not think it would be, but it really was. And we absolutely love these. My husband James really liked them. I will definitely make these again. I know our kids would love this, so I might have to make this sometime when they're all home. This was just really tasty. You might want to give this one a try. It was kind of fun to make. It come together pretty quickly, and I will definitely make this one again.
Hi guys, ignore the TV in the background. I just wanted to show you this real quick. I have this ham bone left from Thanksgiving. We always have turkey and ham, and so this is my ham bone. It was a spiral ham. You can see that there. I'm just putting this in a pot of water, and I'm just going to cook this. Let the rest of the meat pull off the bone. I'm going to get all the fat off of there, and then I'm going to make some potato soup with ham. I might even make like a potato ham corn chowder, not quite sure. First things first, let's get this thing going. It's going to make a delicious broth for the soup and use the rest of this ham that's on the bone that doesn't come off super easy. So gonna be delicious. So step 1 to a yummy soup.
Okay, the ham is off the bone, and I've got it chunked up into the size pieces that I want, and I've added in some celery, and I am just letting these 2 cook together for a few minutes here. Then I'm going to add in a little bit of my dry chicken bouillon, the soup base, probably a couple tablespoons of that, and then I'll give it a taste. And then here are my potatoes. These are all from our garden, and I'm going to get these cut up into the right size pieces and get them in with the other ingredients.
All right, potatoes are added in, and I put in a little bit of black pepper and a little bit of dried parsley flakes. And we're going to let this cook until the potatoes are tender. All right, here's how it's looking, which is delicious. It smells great. All right, I've got this little chunk here of Velveeta. It's actually just a store brand. I don't know how many ounces that is, maybe 4. I'm going to chunk this up and put it in, and then I'm going to put in some whole milk, and I've got just a little bit left in this can of evaporated milk. That's going to go in as well. And we're going to get this finished up here. We're getting close. All right, the cheese is just about melted through. I want to not pour the cold milk in on that until the cheese is kind of dissolved, and it's just about gone. Okay. Next comes the milk. Alright, that was what was left in my can of evaporated milk. And then I'm just going to eyeball the other milk. So that was maybe about 3 cups, I'd say. Stir. Looks good. Yeah, I think that looks about right. Probably give it a little taste test here and see where we're at. And then of course this will just need to come up to temperature now that the milk is in there. All right, here is my delicious bowl of soup. I almost forgot to show you guys, but it's all finished and I taste it. Tastes great. It's got some French fried onions on the top and some green onions. And I have just made myself a little piece of garlic bread to go along with this. And so, yep, that is what we are having for dinner tonight.
All right, tonight we are having these big old ribeyes on the grill. They are huge. There's a little more fat on it than I would normally like to see or how they're normally trimmed, but we used a different butcher this time, and this is how they look. They are delicious. Don't doubt that for sure. These are potatoes from our garden, big giant red potatoes. Those were beautiful. They baked up perfectly. And the steak, oh my word. And so we just served a salad alongside, and it was fine dining. Fine dining. We loved every minute of it. Look at that steak. Oh my word. Yep, this was a yummy, quick meal from the grill. All right, guys. Here's a big old stack of enchiladas that I have just made up. I was not thinking I was going to film this, but I've decided I'm going to because I want to remember it, and I'm afraid I won't because I'm just doing this on the fly. So this is just real life here. I'm super busy, but I'm getting together a lot of food for a big event that we're hosting tomorrow. And I'm feeding some people today that are coming to help us get some of the prep work done. So I have got these huge mission tortillas. I mean, they're ginormous. They're the flour tortillas in the burrito size, but they're ginormous. Got those for $1.32 on the markdown at Meijer, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna make the Crunch Wrap Supremes, like dupe Taco Bell ones. So I browned up yesterday 4 pounds of ground beef, added in some green pepper and tomato from our garden, and then I just seasoned it. And I actually used some of this already yesterday for loaded nachos. So it's seasoned for tacos. So chili powder, garlic powder, cumin, salt. So what I'm doing is putting the meat mixture in here, and then now I'm going to, hang on a minute, I'm going to use this queso quesadilla cheese and put some down on each one, roll it up, and in the bottom of my pan, I used a large can of green enchilada sauce, and I put just a little bit in the pan here. And then in this pan, I used, and it was like the 28-ounce can, it was like the big fat can of green enchilada sauce. So to that, I added some Greek yogurt, which basically works the same as sour cream. And then I added in cumin, chili powder, salt, a little bit of chicken bouillon. I used about a tablespoon of these diced jalapeno peppers and a little bit of Cholula hot sauce. And so basically I'm making like a sour cream sauce to go over top of these burritos, or enchiladas rather. So I'm gonna roll these, put them in this sauce, and pour the creamy sauce on top, and then put some cheese. And it's just gonna be like a creamy beef burrito. I've never comboed this before. I normally do a red sauce with a beef burrito, but like I said, I'm pretending like I'm, what's that show, Chopped, where they give you these ingredients and you have to work with them. That's what we got going on today. But after I'm working on it, I think this is gonna be pretty good, and I wanted to film it so I remember, and you guys just get to catch it on the fly here. So I'll show you when I get them in the pan. Okay, I ended up getting 2 pans of these, and I think it's really awesome how these huge ones fit from end to end. These are the Costco pans. It's such a good deal. I keep these all the time for if I'm making meals to give away, or if you're going somewhere and you just don't want to fool with having a dish. These are very cost effective, way cheaper than getting them at the dollar store. I just get a big bundle, maybe like 30 of these. I can't remember for sure, but it's a very, very good price. Maybe like 7 something, I don't know. If I can think of it, I'll put it on the screen, but I try to keep these all the time. I'm rabbit trailing on Costco pans, but you know, sometimes I need more 9x13s than I actually have, so I keep these. So these long ones fit from end to end, which I think is really kind of cool. And these are kind of squished in, but I think 5 fits in here really, really good. Keeps them tight. And this one has 4. So I was able to make 9 of these. They are full of meat. I mean, these are huge, meat and cheese. Now I'm gonna put the sauce on. And I'm just thinking too, how great a freezer meal this would be. Really, really, really good. I split the cream sauce between these 2 pans, and then now I'm gonna top it with, I've got some of this hot pepper shredded cheese.
and I have some of this nacho taco blend. So I'm gonna split these equally. So I like to have, anytime I'm making a dish that tops with cheese, I like to have some yellow in there too. So I don't ever usually just a plain white cheese. Sometimes I do, but I like a blend. So a little bit of each bag on both. And then of course, I will use a little bit of parsley. I always do that to give it some color. And there we have it, 2 pans full of enchiladas. So these are basically, it's just a beef enchilada with sour cream sauce. You know, I'm using the term enchilada loosely. This is not true authentic Mexican food. This is my style of maybe more of a Tex-Mex, but anyway, you know what I'm saying. One time someone told me I called something an enchilada that wasn't technically an enchilada. So I'm not saying this is technical, but I'm saying it's going to be good. So I just thought I'd show you this and keep this for memory so I can make these again. I have a feeling they're going to be a really good combo. All right, you guys, here's what's going on in the crock pot. I've got a beautiful beef roast in here and some fresh garlic and celery. I don't know why I put the celery in earlier today, and now I'm just getting ready to put in the carrots, but that's just how my mind was thinking this morning. I was like, oh, I'm gonna throw in the celery. I already had it pre-chopped. That's really why. It was already pre-chopped and clean. The carrots, however, I just did. So I always do beef roast in whatever way strikes me. So on this one, I did salt, pepper, onion powder, a little bit of onion salt from Trader Joe's. That's probably about it. And then I used some special, let me see here, I'll show you the seasoning that I used. Okay, so I used this Pit Boss Chop House Steak seasoning. It's just got a lot of yummy stuff in there. So I sprinkled some of that on as well, and a little bit of dry beef soup base, dry bouillon powder. And then now I'm getting ready to put in these carrots. So I figure we'll eat dinner in probably about 2 hours. Woohoo! In they go. Into the sauna. Let's see. Let me spread these out here. We'll probably eat dinner in about 2 hours. So these carrots will be done by then. So I've just not filmed what's for dinner. I've not had a what's for dinner video up in 3 weeks, and I have not filmed dinners in probably that long. Oh my, I'm out of practice. Took a little break, but so yeah, I'm back in here, and beef roast for dinner tonight, and I will show you the rest. Hopefully I'll remember to film it so I can show you what we have for dinner this night. All right, what we have in this bowl are leftover Thanksgiving mashed potatoes. So I have just kind of stirred them up a little bit. They're cold right out of the refrigerator. I have showed making potato cakes on my channel before. I'm going to show you again. I like pretty simple potato cakes. Like I've said many times, if I grew up on it eating a certain way, I kind of like that way, and I kind of stick with it. So this is how my mom made potato cakes when I was growing up. So cold mashed potatoes, salt, pepper, and onion salt. You probably hear me talk a lot about this. I love this. Love, love, love it. And for months, we couldn't find this at Trader Joe's, but my husband went in to get a salad for lunch the other day because there's not one near our home, but near his work. And they had it, and so he bought several. So I'm stocked up. So I'm going to add a little bit of those seasonings in here, and I'm going to add a little bit of flour and a little bit of water. And the flour and water kind of make paste, and then you fry them up. Potato cakes. Love them, love them. So I'm going to get these going. All right, you can see here that I have sprinkled on just to, eyeball it. A little bit of salt, a little bit of onion salt, a little bit of black pepper. And then I also put just a little bit of butter in there. I've never done that, but butter's not gonna hurt anything. And then now I've got my flour here. And so I keep this little measuring doodad in my flour. It's honestly probably about 1/4 a cup. I've never measured it to see. But, of course you just, like I said, I just eyeball this. That's really probably enough. I'm gonna do a tiny more sprinkle just for good measure. All right, so that's what we've got. My estimation, just looking at this is probably about a heaping 2 cups of leftover mashed potatoes, maybe 2.5 cups. And then I use maybe 1/3 cup of flour. And then I'm just gonna put water in and give it a stir until it sticks together. You don't want it loose, you don't want it runny, but your water just to kind of combine it all together. So probably about 1/4 cup of water as well. Okay, I've changed my mind. This is really, I'd say more about 3 cups of the potatoes. I did stick with just the same amount of flour I added, but I'd say I added in about 1/2 cup or so of water. And you can just see here, it just they kind of stick together. They're going to form a little patty, you know, kind of like cookie dough, or I'd say more kind of like cookie dough. Kind of want to hold together, but not be runny. So, and then these just go in the pan and fry up. The key is, don't flip them too soon. Leave them in your pan until they get a good crust on the bottom. All right, so this is actually just cooking spray in this pan. And I almost let it get too dark because my husband came home and I was talking to him and not paying attention. All right, so basically, I just take a little scoop of the potatoes. I'm doing this with one hand here. And just kind of lay it in there. Yeah, one little scoop. You don't have to be perfect. Once you flip them and kind of push them down a little bit, then they turn more into a little circle. And as they fry, they'll kind of start flattening down. So I just put little, try to be about the same size, little potato patties in there, little potato cakes. I'm gonna fill up my pan. All right, here they are in the pan. I probably could have fit one more in there, but once the sides start touching, then they're kind of harder to flip over individual. They kind of like want to, you know, stay together, and then you have to kind of separate them with your spatula or your egg turner or whatever. So I just am gonna leave it like this and let them fry, low to medium, because you don't want them to get too done on the bottom before they start warming up. Kind of like the temperature you do a grilled cheese on. It's pretty much the same concept. All right, I've just started turning them. So I don't have my tripod out today, so I'm going to try to do this by holding the camera. All right, I don't even know if I filmed that. Let's try this one. Oop. Okay, I've got most of them turned. I'm still waiting on, I don't know, I think my burner is just not as hot back there, but I'm still waiting on this one to eat just a little bit longer. They're looking good. Okay, here's the first round -2, because I had one and James had one. We just had a sample. See if it was good. And it is delicious. So they're thin, crispy, so good. Now let me show you the pan. I crowded a couple extra in this time because it was dinner time and I do not want to keep standing here frying another pan. I should have got out my big griddle, but this is just fine. So I got 2 more to turn over here, and I'll let these finish probably another 2 or 3 minutes on each side to get a good crisp like the other one. And then it will be dinner time. And here is the finished product. We have our delicious potato cakes, some steamed broccoli in the microwave, which is some onion, salt, some pepper, and a little bit of butter, the cooked celery and carrots, and then the beef roast. This is from the cow that we had butchered just not long ago. And then just a little bit of horseradish on the side, horseradish sauce on the side, because we like that with our beef and with our steak sometimes. That is dinner tonight. Love the crock pot all year round, but I love putting things in the crock pot this time of year as well. So this is a delicious beef roast kind of day.
All right, and since we have talked about and used potatoes that we harvested from our garden multiple times in this What's for Dinner video, I just wanted to show you our potatoes. So this is some footage from when we dug up all the potatoes in our garden. We didn't have a huge harvest, but we really did have a good one. And so I thought I would show you that before I show you the very last clip, which is using more of these potatoes. So here we go. Okay, it's super bright out here, but I wanted to show you our potato harvest. They are piled in here, probably a couple layers deep. There's definitely probably 15 at least pounds of potatoes. There's probably about 15 to 20 pounds of potatoes right there. And then I left the bigger ones out just because they are so huge. Look at that one. That one's really awkward. Look at this, that's just huge. Really nice size ones. The sun is really bright right now. And look at that one's a big one. This one's an odd one. Another nice size one. I mean, these are really nice. And then in the bottom of this, and here are our sweet potatoes. It's the first time for us to grow sweet potatoes. That one's probably the biggest one, but not too bad. I mean, we've got a few. They're not really huge, but like I said, it was our first time. But so I would show you our wonderful potato harvest this year. I just thought I would show you this super quick little trick that I like to do. I am making breakfast this morning. Nothing super special, just eggs and some avocado toast. But I had 2 baked potatoes that I had made last week. I made 4 of them, and we ate 1 each for dinner, James and me. I made 2 extra for whatever I might need them for, and we haven't used them yet. So I just diced them up, and in just a few minutes, I have some delicious fried potatoes to go along with our breakfast. So if you make baked potatoes, in my opinion, always make some extra, because they're good to eat, you know, just again like baked potatoes, or you can use them in a variety of other ways. And so this is something I do pretty often. I take what's left of our baked potatoes and dice them up and make little fried potatoes. So it makes a really quick way to have some potatoes in the morning. They're already soft and baked, so they just kind of brown up and crisp up really quick. Well, that concludes this What's for Dinner video. It's good to be back showing you some of the clips that we've had to eat around here. Thank you all for watching. If you have not yet subscribed, hit that red subscribe button. Hit the thumbs up to tell me you like this video. And hopefully I'll have another one of these up next week. That's my plan. As always, thanks for watching, guys. See you the next time.